Ever since they found the Buga Sphere, citizens actually for the first time have evidence of alien tech. And not only that, we have used AI to translate their language.
This might just be something a little bit more advanced that we don't know about.
What I can say about the Buga Sphere is that this is not the first time that this has happened.
Really?
A crazy story that happened in 1974 to the Betz family. The Betz Sphere, they realized, they're like, damn, what the hell, this thing's alive, you know what I'm saying? And not only that, they started realizing its conscience. It's not just a sphere.
Almost like AI.
Yeah, so...
But that seems to me, like I said, almost like a drone. You know, it's being controlled by somewhere else.
Exactly. Like a weird blue light.
You got this video?
And yeah, I got the video. Let me show it to you. Yeah, the Buga Sphere is a serious mystery. But yeah, well, shit, hey, bro, I ran across some crazy ass shit.
Man, I've been waiting to hear about this.
All right.
I've been waiting to hear about this one.
Man, bro, I gotta tell you this crazy ass shit, but it's called the Buga Sphere.
The Bugas?
The Buga Sphere. The reason it's called the Buga Sphere is because the sphere landed in Buga, Colombia. So they just called it the Buga Sphere. But what if I tell you that ever since they found the Buga Sphere, citizens actually for the first time have evidence of alien tech. And not only that, we have used AI to translate their language.
What?
Yeah, crazy.
No, AI
was that smart, huh?
Capable of even doing that.
Right? It's crazy, but bro, you gotta hear this crazy ass story. And this just happened a month ago on March 26, 2025, where a woman named Maria, she posted a video of a sphere just flying around, right? But the crazy part about the sphere is this fucking sphere hit cables. You know what I'm saying? Like the cables, for the houses.
Yeah, the
electric cables, and it hit this and the sphere hit this thing by accident, and it gave it a 10,000 volt discharge.
What?
Basically saying it shocked it right up its anti-gravity ass, like a 10,000 volt discharge. So right after it got shocked, this is where she started recording it, because it started, moving like if it's dazed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if it's like fucked up.
Something
fucked up, right? So so she was recording it, right? And this sphere would move fast, move slow, come up, come down. But then on top of it, it started producing a light. Like a weird blue light.
You got this video?
And yeah, I got the video. Let me show it to you.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Let me see. Right.
The Buga Sphere.
Right here.
Yeah, let me see this.
That's the sphere. Right now it's just floating around. Like, oh, you ain't able to. There's a video. That's the sphere, and those are the cables that it hit. You see it?
Damn.
But that bitch was just flying around. But ever since it hit the cables, it was just acting funny.
What is it?
Who knows? It's just a sphere.
It's a ball.
Right, look, and there's a light that it's producing.
Oh yeah, I saw that
from the top. And she's like, "What the fuck? Why is it lighting up now? You know?" But it's dazed.
Signal of distress.
A signal of distress. And then look, finally at the end, it just gives up. Hold on, let me find the other one. Here it is. Here it is where it falls. Here it is where it falls. You see it? It's acting dazed. Vámonos al piso. Finally gave out. Its inner mechanism said that's it. Right? So that was the video posted by Maria. She just posted this on Facebook, right? But then the next day, this video got uploaded by a guy named Jose, where they actually retrieved the thing. Here he is, going up to it. And there it is, just laying right there.
There it is.
Yeah, and this guy, he's remained anonymous. He doesn't want no one to know his name.
Hell nah, I wouldn't either.
Right? He just goes by Jose. He grabs it without even thinking about that, there's a risk.
Radioactive or something?
Nothing. He just grabs it, bro. And believe it or not, this thing fucked him up. It burnt off his fingertips. And let's see, look, there he is retrieving it. It burned off his fingertips. It made him sick, vomiting, made his eyes red as fuck.
Sound like
radiation poison. It's just he just went straight for it, bro. Like, come on, bro, like, right? Come on, nah. But the crazy part about the Buga Sphere was that it only weighed 2 kilos, which is about 4.5 pounds. Know what I'm saying? Because he grabbed it with one hand. Right. In the video, and they asked him how much does it weigh. He said about 2 kilos. So he grabbed it, and he took it with him. The next day, that bitch weighed 9 kilos, which is about 18 to 20 pounds. So it gained weight. It gained
how
weight.
Does something gain weight without eating?
What I think it is, maybe its anti-gravity properties were wearing off. Maybe it had a little bit, and then it is giving out. But the thing about, the guy who had it in his possession, he's just a basic ass dude. He ain't nothing, he ain't no alien specialist, nothing.
Yeah, not even into it.
Into it, right? But he didn't realize what was gonna happen in his life when he found this sphere, because he was getting contacted by governments. The government of Russia contacted him. The government of Colombia, the government of America, they contacted him. Hey, we want that sphere. Name a price, and you got it.
No shit.
But he said, if I give this sphere to them, it's gonna disappear, and we'll never hear about it after that. He's like, nah, this got to go to the people.
Like everything else has.
Yeah,
similar
exactly.
Stories, same outcomes.
Exactly. But he was like, nah, I'm not gonna give it. He don't even want $1 billion for it. He just wanted to go into the right hands of someone who's gonna study and be transparent. So he gave it to a guy named Daniel Velez, also known as El Porto. That's him right there with it. He's holding it.
El Porto.
El Porto, así le dicen. So this man has a company of electromagnetic technologies, as in LiDAR, surveying underground, even down to finding minerals, gold, petroleum.
So he has some knowledge on.
So he's up to par with what he could investigate this thing.
He can better than the Jose.
Right. So they give it to this guy, and El Porto, Daniel Velez. And he was in charge of, he gave it to him. He's like, here, I don't want the attention it's giving me. It's making me sick. So he gave it to El Porto. So then El Porto was now in possession of the Buga Sphere. And, his first observation was that the Buga Sphere has these designs. It's just etched into the sphere.
That's an actual photo right there?
This is an actual photo of it.
Damn, what am I looking at?
We'll get into what I think it is here in a minute. But what we can see is it's got like a Star of David or something. And it's got these weird letters. And in the center, it's got what they say looks like a quantum chip. Right? Weird as fuck.
Okay.
Right, and this is the the symbol there, but just drawn, because here's this is fucking ugly. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the first thing he noticed. He's like, why is this thing?
What does this mean?
Why does a Buga Sphere have these designs that we don't understand? Well, clearly he don't understand it. So he, now we got to go to now he went to the next step, which is basic shit. putting up a torch to it and pouring water on it. We got to start slow, right? So they put a torch up to the Buga Sphere. It doesn't matter if you hold it there an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That bitch will not get hot. What? And you could burn it, and then right after put your hand on it. And there's videos of them doing this. And the crazy part was, if you pour water on it, it'll evaporate.
Really?
So if you put water on the Buga Sphere, it'll evaporate. And, you know, people think, oh, you know, the Buga Sphere is hot, but then they'll touch it right after, you know, to show that it's not hot. And they'll even shoot a thermal gun to it, and it's literally 32 Celsius.
What kind
you know?
of technology is this?
This is very strange technology. And another thing that they noticed about the Buga Sphere was that the Buga Sphere was emitting something. They can't decode it. They can't really understand what the signal even is, but it's like emitting something. And they can the only thing they come up with is probably sending a message to its ship.
So it could almost be like a drone.
Exactly.
For some reason, that's what comes to mind.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I think it is.
Mind.
Right? And El Porto, the guy with the Buga Sphere, he has a company called Germany. And this guy, same thing, bro. Same thing. He getting contacted by governments. Surprised me that the Russian government was after their ass, bro. They wanted that sphere, bro. Name your price and it's yours. Imagine, bro. Shit, they write you a hot check for whatever you want. But he had the same intention. No, if this goes to them, we'll never hear from it again, right? And they don't want that. But El Porto, he was running into the issue of the same issue. He doesn't like the attention. He doesn't like governments calling him. He doesn't like people knocking at his door. He had people trying to break into his house.
That's a lot.
You know, sometimes I even wonder, do I want something like that? And then getting bugged getting bugged to shit. You know, people knocking on your door, people trying to break in. It's a big responsibility. Everybody wants it. We all want to know what the hell it is. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big responsibility.
It's a big responsibility. And, you know, they were contacted by many people. Believe it or not, I even contacted them.
What?
Yeah. Even I jumped on the train.
Even my nigga bugging that shit out of it.
Yeah, bro, because if they would agree, if they would have agreed for me to see this thing, I'll fly down there in a heartbeat. Hell yeah, shit.
Go check it out.
Go check it out. See what, whatever, But basically.
And this just happened.
March 26th last month, bro. It's almost about to be a month. It's March 18th today. This is crazy. And they also realize that this thing has two magnetic polarities.
Two magnetic polarities.
Yeah. Well.
How the hell does that work?
I don't know. It has a strong magnetic force.
Usually you just got north and south.
Yeah, but.
So what the fuck? How does that work?
I couldn't explain it to you, man. Like I said, this thing is a mystery. So there's one person that contacted them that they were okay with, investigating the Buga Sphere. This guy's name is Jaime Maussan. He is basically the number one ufologist in Latino America. So they agreed. They're like, they agreed for him to look at it. But all these other people like me and everybody else are like, fuck them. And they're nobodies, right? So they, when Jaime Maussan hit them up, they're like, okay, this guy's a little different. He's been doing this for 40 years, his whole life. So they let Jaime Maussan see the Buga Sphere. But, he had to fly from Ciudad de Mexico to Cali, Colombia, and then from there go to Buga. And he saw this thing. He interviewed the people who were all involved into this. Even the guy who was anonymous, who, they blurred out his face and all that.
Yeah.
He said it, how he got sick and all that. But El Porto told this guy, man, the only thing that pisses me off about this sphere is the attention it's bringing. This is when Jaime Maussan said, "Give it to me. I'll deal with the responsibility." Right? He just threw a shot in the dark. But little did he know was the next day they'll call him and said, "We'll give it to you. Just we'll leave it up to you to investigate it and get this weight off of my shoulders." Because it was fucking him up. Damn, I could only imagine, bro.
Causing all kinds
governments hitting you up,
problems, bro. Really. Like extra shit. Man.
Yeah. It sounds like a fucking headache. So Jaime Maussan, when he got when he got it, he transported back to Ciudad de Mexico, because that's where he's based out at. So the first thing he did, because, they already went through that water boils on it. It's
the basics.
Yeah, the basics.
They covered the basics.
There's a weird letters on there, whatever. So he said, let's get more in depth. Let's do Rayo X, X-rays. You know what I'm saying? So they did X-rays on this thing.
What they find?
They found that it has 3 layers, and that the top layer of the Buga Sphere is dense, like hard. The layer under that cap is less dense, and the layer under that is basically like less dense, than the second one. And the very center it is like plush is what they call it. But the weird thing is that they found that there's 18 circular nodules in the sphere. And just this, here, let me show you the X-rays.
Nodules.
Yeah, like these the mini spheres, you know what I'm saying? Here are X-rays of it.
Inside of it?
Inside of it. That's the center of it. And I forgot to mention on the Buga Sphere, there's actually a band around it. Let me show you. Like, how can I explain the band? The band, it basically just goes around it. Look, you can kind of see it right there. Let me find it right there. See, look, there's the band.
Yeah.
It just goes around and just has these black dots.
That's some type of technology right there.
Yeah. And the crazy part is there's no signs of weld. They microscope, this thing, there's no trace of welds. So how was what's inside captured in there and shut together? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like as if it was built from inside out. You know what I'm saying? It's strange. Yeah. So they did the X-rays. They found out that the Buga Sphere has 3 layers, 18 mini spheres in it, and just this porous type of material in the center. Then they did CT scans, and this is what popped up.
What the hell?
What it is, I don't know. Who knows what the hell it is? But that is what the CT scan showed. People say this looks like the Baghdad battery.
Really?
Yeah, but it's all theory, you know what I'm saying? So with the CT scan, look, let me show you a clear picture, because they rendered it, right? So basically, this is what this is drawn with, but this is what the CT scan showed that the Buga Sphere had inside of it. The thing is, what is this picture-looking thing? You know what I'm saying? Weird. And how would it have anti-gravity properties? You know what I'm saying? What is it? You know what I'm saying? Damn. Just strange, man. Just
throws everybody off.
It's trippy. But
well, of course we wouldn't understand, because we
only live up to 120. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know much.
Advanced technology. Of course, we're gonna be looking at it like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Imagine people in the Stone Age looking at a cell phone.
Yeah.
What the hell it is?
Exactly.
And that's where we're at with this.
Yeah, the Buga Sphere is a serious mystery, but they do not plan to open it yet. They want to do as much experiments as they can while it's without damaging it. You know what I'm saying? Um, because you know what I'm saying? They don't just want to go straight into caveman mode and start ripping it up.
Tearing it down. What is this?
What is this, right?
Taller shit.
Yeah. So, though, trust me, they're doing tests every day on this thing, and every result comes back to, we don't know what it is. What
with our modern technology and modern, we don't know what it is. Of things.
And not only that,
that tells you that we are not.
We're not ready. Yeah, we're not that advanced. And also, they did tests on the Buga Sphere and found that the metal has remnants of aluminum, but there's also metals in it that aren't known.
That's
but
what I was gonna ask you. What material was it?
The only thing they can really detect in it is aluminum, but there's more metals to it that is just unknown. You know what I'm saying? And you got to think about it. Whatever metal it is, it's got to be hard as fuck because it's going to take a beating. If it's flying around, you know what I'm saying? Eventually, it's going to have to take a beating, And so whatever the aluminum's mixed with, it gives it a hard shell.
From what that seems to me, that seems like I said, almost like a drone. You know, it's being controlled by somewhere else.
Exactly.
Someone lost that hoe, nigga. Is somebody gonna come looking for it?
What's gonna happen, right? But watch. We'll get into the what we think it is, because I also have that it's a drone. You know what I'm saying? But basically, the one thing everybody who's on this case is trying to get into about the Buga Sphere is what are these letters? What are these symbols?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What the hell is that? If you put into ChatGPT will say, this is not a language that I understand. It'll even tell you, this seems like alien symbols. Really? I don't know why it says that, but it says that. And I'll put it in every day in case it updates. Hey, what does this mean? What does this mean?
Right.
And it'll tell me, I don't know what it is, but it seems like alien symbols.
That's crazy.
It's crazy that ChatGPT says that. But Meta AI claims that they deciphered it.
Oh, really?
But then again, this is theory. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that this is that it's accurate, but Meta AI claims that they've deciphered it. And supposedly, what Meta AI is saying is that the Buga Sphere letters say the origin of birth through union and energy in the cycle of transformation, the meeting point of unity, expansion, and consciousness, individual consciousness. That is literally what Meta AI says that it says.
What's that even mean?
It's basically talking about spiritual concepts.
Why
always.
Why does it always tie down to that?
Because I feel like after so much time, you leave ego and all that shit. The only thing you can go to is spirituality. That these beings who made these things,
they know what they're talking about.
They've hit a level of high spirituality.
Answer. That's the answer out there.
Yeah, But then again, that's theory. But they did find a guy. Or what I mean to say is that another person found that the Buga Sphere, the symbols on the Buga Sphere matches artwork done by a man named Wingmaster. See, look, here is the art by Wingmaster. Right? You see all these symbols?
Yeah, that's pretty similar right
That's
there.
pretty similar. This little symbol right here is actually on the Buga Sphere. See, look, there it is.
What?
And here it is, but it's missing that little thing. And here's the line with 3. And the Buga Sphere. Oh, and these symbols have that line, but with 4. What if that's like an uppercase and that's a lowercase? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they asked this guy, they're like, they asked this guy, Wingmaster, they told him like, hey, we found alien technology that matches your symbols that you're drawing in this art. Where are you getting these symbols from? And what do they mean? And they told him that this motherfucker gets laced up on LSD and he enters a spiritual world and he just receives these symbols in his head and he just comes back to normal and draws everything he saw.
That's crazy.
And they asked him, okay, well, you know, they're probably looking at him like a crazy hippie, right?
Yeah.
So they asked him, okay, well, what does it mean? He said, I have no idea. That's just what I see. And they're telling him, well, you do realize your artwork is matching with alien technology. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what it means. All I know is that is what I see.
Damn.
When I enter the spiritual realm.
And wasn't it talking about consciousness?
Yeah, it's talking about individual consciousness and unity.
That almost ties right in together.
Yeah, it makes sense. But let's get into what I think the Buga Sphere is. I think it's ancient technology, but advanced for us. This thing is ancient, bro. Just looking at it. Just looking at the Buga Sphere, this thing has taken a beating. And a lot of people say that it's fake because the lines aren't straight. You got to think about how old is this thing?
How old is it?
How many miles does the Buga Sphere have? What if it has 4 trillion miles?
Right.
You know, what if it was in Pluto the day before, you know?
Man.
This thing gives more answers, more questions than answers.
Yeah, it sure does.
It sure does. What's controlling it? For what purpose?
Here to record something?
Is it surveying the ground? Is it looking for minerals?
That's what it seems like.
Is it spying? Where's the camera on this hole?
Right. It's like you said, it raises more questions
than answers, man. And what's behind it? You know what I'm saying?
You don't even know where the fuck to start. Imagine. Like, even if we got a hold of it right now.
What do you do? We're like cavemen with an iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
What is that cable? You know, they open it and they're like, why is there yellow lines? It's like, you know, they don't know what copper is.
No idea where to even start.
Yeah, but I believe this is ancient technology. Ancient, bro. Ancient. I'm talking about before ancient Egypt. I feel like this thing is thousands of years old and it just fucked up and hit those power lines.
The thing is, what is it doing here? That's another big question. You know,
the questions, bro. The questions don't end. Not only that, what is it being controlled consciously, or does it have its own conscience?
Right.
What is telling it to drive here? You know, like
yeah. Is it
the questions, right?
Is it being controlled, or is it its own?
Is it just free will? Like, does it have its own free will, or is it an item?
Nah,
it's more questions than answers, right? Is it surveying us? Is it trying to map out something? Is it looking for gold?
Nah, that's a tough one.
So I've heard theories, right? I've heard theories that supposedly these objects or these spheres are really like surveillance. So basically, let's say aliens want to watch us, but they don't personally want to go there.
That's what
they're just gonna send this little thing. So in case they take it down, all they took down was this and not their ship and them.
Mean, if you're smart, that's what you would do.
Yeah, that's a smart way to approach it.
That's what we do nowadays by sending drones.
Sending drones, exactly.
To collect information for us.
But you know what I think about the Buga Sphere? I think someone's connected to this thing consciously. They're like, I don't think it's just some kid in his room doing this with a controller, like fly over here, fly over here. Nah, I feel like something is,
more to it.
Tapped, like this thing is consciously connected to something.
Man,
that is letting it survey.
We ain't there yet, nigga. We
at all? Hell no, not.
We ain't there yet.
Yeah.
There's a way deeper understanding. Man, that's got to go deep.
But the good thing is we have our hands on it. You know what I'm saying? Citizens.
That's a start.
This is the first time. Well, it's not the first time. It's the first big time that we can remember. Everything's recorded now, but that we actually have alien technology in the hands of citizens, not in the government.
Right.
You know when them fools get that
Oh
shit,
yeah.
it's gone. You'll never hear
And
about
most
it
of the
again.
time they do. Most of the time they do get their hands on it.
Oh hell yeah! And they try to get
Real
their hands
quick.
on this thing.
Whoever has that better be careful. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm in my son. I've been trying to contact that
For
fool.
real?
Yeah, and I was actually gonna tell you earlier. My girl, man, I don't want to get too much in detail, but she knows someone who has direct contact with Jaime Maussan.
What?
Yeah, and I just got his info today. So man, and I was gonna hit him up earlier, but you know all that stuff that we did got in the way. But I'll hit him up tomorrow.
Boy, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. But man, I really want to at least go over there and do an episode, record it, touch it, maybe.
Yeah, that
But
would
I
be
got
cool.
this dude's number today. Tomorrow I'll hit him up, and you know if I can tell him to hit up Jaime Maussan, and then you know just hope for the best. I was gonna tell you that earlier, but like I'll save it for the
for the
show, right? There's all
That's an interesting man.
look, but there's also another guy. This guy, he's been doing linguistics translations for over 40 years. He believes that the Buga Sphere, obviously, is that he translated it. But then again, there's hundreds of translations.
Right.
Everyone's got their own translation. But that's just the beauty of not knowing. Everybody thinks they know, but at the end, nobody fucking knows. But I mean, he translated in Spanish, but the shit he put is the wings brighten of grand consciousness.
It's always a dude.
And he just and it just goes on with consciousness and bright spirit. You know what I'm saying?
How does that even make sense though? Like, how would they even tie in with what we're looking at?
Consciousness, huh?
What's that got to do with a sphere that's flying around?
For what
the hell?
reason? Hey, like you said, we're just not ready. We're not ready for that information. But you want to know something crazy about the Buga Sphere that also what I can say about the Buga Sphere is that this is not the first time that this has happened.
Really?
A crazy story that happened in 1974 to the Betz family. They also found an alien sphere on their property, and they also took it in and didn't realize what it was till later on. But you gotta hear this también crazy ass story about it's called the Betz Sphere. But this happened back in 1974, so this was a time before all
Anything.
these they're cell phones. You know what I'm saying?
Drones.
Drones and all that. So you can't really blame that this thing was governmental,
Right.
So basically, the Betz family, one day they were outside because they lived on a big ranch. They were pretty good financially. They had acres and all that. They were a pretty rich family. They went outside one day. They were doing some yard work, and they just saw this sphere laying on the ground.
What?
Yeah, they thought it was a cannonball. So they're like, fuck it, let's take it inside. And they just kept it. They didn't think much of it. They're just like, oh shit, we found a cannonball. Those are collectibles. If you're find one, the most got value.
Right.
So they took it inside, and it took about 2 weeks that they had it, and the son was playing guitar, and the sphere started moving.
What?
So it reacted to frequency.
The frequencies.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And the kid told the dad, like, hey dad, this sphere is moving. Like it moves when you play music. You know what I'm saying? And he showed his dad that. His dad was like, what what the fuck it is? And they started like fucking with it, and it would like roll back and forth. And then they're like, what the hell? But the good thing about that was it's like they activated it. Because after that, they noticed that the sphere would follow them. So let's say you were going to the restroom. this sphere is gonna follow you, and
Really?
yeah,
Almost like they turn on a switch or
yeah,
activated
with,
something.
with the frequency. But this Betz Sphere basically turned into a little pet because, I mean, it would follow them
It's
around.
like that. Yeah, like I said, like they activated
Yeah, they activated it.
to be controlled by them. You know,
That's a good theory that I never thought
like
about
they
that.
done change it up.
They didn't
And
change the
they
owner.
switch controllers.
Huh.
You know,
What?
that's what it seems
That
like.
reminds me of psionics. Have you ever heard about psionics? Oh man, you got to get into that. But honestly, that's a whole different episode. But what psionics is they have found craft that you control with your mind.
Oh, okay.
You consciously connect to it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah,
But so I didn't think about that. What you're saying is maybe they
That's
switched
what it
players.
sounds like.
Yeah. So basically, this sphere, the Betz Sphere, you know, they realized they're like, damn, what the hell? You know, this thing's alive. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And not only that, they started realizing its conscience. It's not just a sphere.
Almost like AI.
Yeah. So let's say you put it on a table, and you randomly like just in a split second move the table sideways. It'll adjust itself so it won't fall off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
it's has some type of intelligence.
yeah, it had a balance mechanism in it. And not only that, it would get mad.
Almost like, well, if you think about it, like now we have all kinds of robots and shit that do stuff nowadays too. You
Yeah.
know, and this might just be something a little bit more advanced that we don't know about.
That we don't know about.
Hey, I think it could be something like that, but
But
from who I don't know.
who knows
From
what? The questions, bro. No answers, just questions. I hate that. But man, that's a good concept you're talking about. What if they consciously connected to it and they just didn't know?
They didn't know. They
Swap player.
flipped some type of switch in it, and whether it was a frequency from the music or who knows what, but they activated something.
I believe Jaime Maussan with the Buga Sphere should play frequencies around his sphere.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that'll trigger something. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be, yeah. It's worth
It's worth a try. You know.
Do they have any similarities? Do you know what the?
Oh yeah, I'll get into that here in a little bit. But let me tell you about how the Betz Sphere would get mad. It had a little attitude. So, right, how the fuck does it get mad? But basically, let's say you grabbed it and you just shook it like, it'll start humming.
You better chill out, man.
Yeah, and it'll stop. Or, you'll stop and you'll put it down and it wouldn't move for a couple days. Like if you're on, like if it's got attitude,
or some shit.
Or maybe you kind of disoriented something in it.
Yeah.
But they said it's like it had a little attitude. You couldn't shake it because it'll start humming. That it would. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
Maybe it wasn't built for that.
Maybe it wasn't built just to be violently shaked. And not only that,
some type of disruptive.
Not only that, it probably is built for that, but when its anti-gravity properties is activated, but right now it's like on neutral,
they don't know how to. They probably could do a lot of stuff with it, but
shake it.
They.
I'll be like, hey, grab that hoe and just shake it,
all
bro.
the fuck they could think of, But they had it following them around like a little pet.
Like a little pet, yeah.
But it was ready to do commands for them, probably. But
they didn't. Their mind couldn't take that.
Who knows, But that's what it almost seemed like to me.
Damn, that's exactly what it sounds like.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
So, basically, this family came across all this new information about the sphere, about the Betz Sphere. But then, damn, their uncle fucked it all up. So they invited their uncle to come look at this sphere. They're like, well, the son told the uncle, like, hey, come look at this sphere that we have that moves and it balances itself and it gets mad if you shake it. He thought they were tripping.
Right.
So the uncle goes and he's like, oh shit, they're for real. This thing is following them around. It moves. It's like if it's conscious in a weird way. So this fucking dude,
especially at that time,
yeah,
that was way advanced.
1974, bro.
Way advanced.
Damn. Anyway, so the uncle, loudmouth dude, because the family who founded the Betz family didn't want no attention. They didn't want people hitting them up. They just basically want to keep it as a pet while we have a metal ball that moves. But the fucking uncle, bro. The uncle ran off and told ufologists, told the news stations, ran his mouth. And now the family was bugged to shit, bro.
No
people
shit.
knocking at their door, people trying to buy it, and rich people pulling up. They threw them offers, but they told me, hey, bro, we're already good. We're rich. We don't need money, But man, they got pissed off when the uncle did that.
Fucking attention that type of shit brings to you.
Just problems, bro. People trying to break into their crib. Man, bro, it sounds chill out, right?
Chill.
It's, people can't hold it together.
I don't know how to act.
Fuck. Anyway, so basically after all this attention it got, they were able to still have it, all the burglary attempts that happened, all that. But guess who came knocking at the door? The fucking
Big
government,
Sam.
the military.
Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam came knocking at the door and said, we hear that you have a very interesting object. And they're like, yeah, we do, whatever.
Damn, not YouTube.
Damn, man, now they're involved, But hey, this gets crazy though, because they told them, look, we understand that you found this, but we have to take it. Like, there's no question. We have to take this thing, because what if this belongs to us? What if it fell off of one of our satellites? What if it's came off of one of our craft? You know what I'm saying?
Well, then you wouldn't know, nigga. Why are you asking what is?
Right?
Don't you know what you got?
Don't you know what you got, right? But so they came.
That's how they had to do it, though,
but
so they could take it.
Yeah, but look, so basically, the wife, the wife said, because she also got connected to this thing, like she, I don't want to say she loved it, but she had like a connection
Type
for
of
it.
connection.
So she said, take it, but if you find out it's not yours, I want it back. You know what I'm saying? Like take it, do your little investigation, see if it's one of your space shuttles or your satellites. But if it's not, I want it back. Guess what happened in 2 months? They brought it back, bro.
Really?
They brought the sphere. The military brought it back and said, sorry, this is not.
That's surprising.
That's very surprising. And that actually happened, bro. So they brought back the sphere, and there's like, oh shit, the sphere's back. After 2 months of not seeing it, and it started acting the same with them.
Like it connected again.
It connected again. But then now everybody knows that they have the sphere back. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, surprisingly, they gave it back because they proved that it didn't belong to their satellites. Nothing. It's whatever it is, it's theirs.
And they don't even know what the fuck.
They don't know what the fuck it is.
Bullshit.
1974, bro. At that time, even the government were doubters about shit like that.
They didn't know what the fuck it was.
They're like, it's probably a cannonball,
This nigga done made this all at home.
Right? So. Oh, man, this is where things go downhill, man. So, basically, they did x-rays, but we're talking about x-rays from 1974.
Yeah.
So, we're not going to expect too much. But I got the x-rays. Here it is. So, here's the Betz Sphere x-rayed. Whoa. But what they can see is, look what's in there.
Objects.
But they can only see 3 mini spheres.
That's what's in the other one.
That's what's in the other one. And there's also layers to this bitch. But you can hardly see it. This is a layer, that's a layer, this is a layer. I don't know if you can see it. There's another layer right there. So it's actually real similar. But this is 1974 x-rays.
Right.
So we really can't expect too much out of it. You know what I'm saying?
But you can see some similarities.
But you can see some similarities. There it is again. And
that's not a coincidence.
Nah, that's not.
You see them same little
mini spheres or
mini
nodules,
spheres in
whatever. Yeah. So they did the X-rays, and man, this thing blew up even more. So the family, or mainly the son, he got into the UFO community very heavily because he had alien technology. Here he is with it. But this one didn't have any symbols or nothing like that. But it was beat the fuck up though.
Damn.
It was beat up.
It was already old.
Yeah, it was old, bro.
What
I'm
have they
telling
been
you.
here for a while already?
Millions of years.
And
Uh-huh.
the creators of that shit just forgot about it. It was old technology.
Exactly.
What if they just got left behind?
There's actually a theory on the Betz Sphere that these are ancient satellites.
Type of shit.
That the original whatever it was connected to died and it's just floating forever trying to find that signal.
That's
That's a theory that I actually thought about that.
That makes sense. I mean, fuck, it makes sense.
Yeah. So man, they did the X-rays on the Betz Sphere, and this thing got more public. But then the son, I showed you a picture of the son. He got real heavily into the UFO community. He would go to conventions, blah blah blah. But the sad part was that one day he went to a UFO convention with the sphere. Imagine that, with the sphere.
Got jacked.
Dumbass. So they called him and said, your mom's dying at the hospital. You have to come right now. He didn't even think about the sphere. He left. When he got back, guess what happened? That hole was gone.
Oh, man.
Ejo, bro. Oh, come on, bro.
The oldest trick in the book.
The oldest trick in the book. They did that shit. They did that shit in Breaking Bad. But yeah, bro. Yeah. But not only did they steal it, they swapped it for another one.
Some bullshit.
Yeah, so for some bullshit. And, he went back and he automatically knew this isn't my sphere.
It wasn't acting the same.
No, nothing. He said the presence wasn't there. I can imagine if you're connected to something, you could feel a presence.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he said that presence was gone. And then he took it home, waited to see if it would move. Nothing, bro.
He should have known.
And even his dad told him, why would you take it over there?
Yeah.
But his son just got too cocky. All the fame, imagine he going up there with the sphere.
Yeah.
Oh, I know damn well I'd probably have eyes on that hole,
Watch, I'm gonna take this.
Watch. I'm gonna call him and make it up with some bullshit.
I'll take this from this little nigga.
Right, and
you know how niggas are.
Right, but basically, man, that it's crazy how this isn't the first time that we have retrieved spheres.
Right.
This is the Betz Sphere. You got the Buga Sphere.
Like you said, it's some old technology that's been forgotten about. Whether it was from Anunnakis, maybe it did something. It was some type of device for them.
Yeah.
And
that civilization died and it's just forever roaming.
Or they just moved on to a new technology, like a newer phone or a newer
and they
device.
just abandoned that.
They just got abandoned and But for us,
it's wow, life changing, But for them, it's like, bro, that's old tech. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's old tech.
All right, man. So one crazy thing about the Buga Sphere, the Betz Sphere, is that this isn't the only one. There's also a Juanito Juan Sphere, a Jim Marlin Sphere, a Riz Cohart Sphere, and the list goes on. And there's videos and pictures about all of this, but the crazy part is the reason we haven't heard about it like the Buga Sphere is because all of those got confiscated or stolen. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure the Betz Sphere was stolen by the military.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's never been heard from ever again, and I guarantee you, someone has it. Someone would have said something. Hell yeah, for sure, man. But what I'm trying to get to is like, man, this is not the first nor the last time that an incident like this has happened. You know what I'm saying? And
where do they come from, though? Like,
that's the mystery. What if it's creatures on Saturn's moon?
If they were here already, like old technology, then we would most likely be seeing them floating around or whatever it is they do. Uh, Scanning or whatever it is, we would most likely see them.
Yeah.
But since they only get found every so often, are they being sent here every once in a while, or
Did it fall on purpose? Was it by accident? Is it trying to help us advance with their ancient technology? I don't know, the mystery. But let's talk about another case that happened in Manchester at an airport. So a pilot was recording a sphere just floating right above the airport. It's just doing circles, like if it's observing, like if it's scanning something. Then this thing, within a second, shot down to the ground. And there's a picture of it. He's got a picture of it. This thing just landed right there.
What?
And there's video of it. I'm just showing you pictures. And then right after he took this picture, the thing left at 1 billion miles an hour. It's like, what the hell are these things? What is their purpose? You get more questions than answers.
There's been a lot of sightings of these spheres, a lot by military, fucking pilots, all kinds of shit. What are these? What the hell are these spheres?
Bro, do you know how many times the pilots, military pilots see these things that if they report it,
they'll get fired.
Or they'll get classified crazy. You just got to be like, I saw nothing. Because because I've heard stories of people seeing them and they're like, hey, there's this sphere flying around me. And they're like, are you sure you want to report this?
No, there ain't.
Like, no, never mind. There is no sphere. I'm tripping.
Right.
Okay, that's a better answer.
Oh, I thought so.
I thought so.
I thought so.
What the fuck? Why? Why so much control like that?
Because they don't, man, I don't know. Them spheres, though, it's a
mystery.
It's a mystery, and I wish we could find out more about them.
The good thing is the civilians have one in their hands. Thanks to Jaime Maussan, and he's very transparent. Let's say he gets results. He'll open them live in a camera, so we see it with him.
Okay.
That's very transparent. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't look at the results and then show the people.
Kept secret like the damn government tries to do all the time. Always trying to hide shit. Always trying to keep us dumbed down.
Hell yeah. But fuck, what was I gonna say? But
man, I was waiting to hear about that. I was waiting to hear about that sphere.
Hey, and they're doing tests daily,
That's
bro.
Some good shit.
And every test comes back with we don't know what the fuck it is. And the Buga Sphere changes weight. Like one day it'll weigh 18 pounds. The next day it'll weigh 16. The next day it'll weigh 20. The next day it'll weigh 6.
It's gravitational.
The
anti-gravity in it is
it's probably wearing off. Like if it's picking up, going down. Not only that, the Buga Sphere changes temperatures. So one day it'll be 60 degrees. Then the next day it'll be like 70. The next day, like it just randomly.
Whatever is going on inside it.
Yeah, is it like maybe it's trying to power itself back on? And there's also a video of it moving. It's like doing this.
Like the controller trying to pick back up.
Like if it's got a bad connection.
Too weak.
But the thing is let's say this thing comes back to life. Is he just gonna make a hole in the wall?
It's flying out the window, nigga.
Because every case of people who have come across these, they keep them like pets. Like they don't leave.
The signal too weak.
But they are picking up signals from it's emitting something.
It's trying to connect to the controller. Once it does, nigga, the controller like, hey, where you at, nigga? Come back.
Yeah.
Like a drone it'll come back to you automatically. It has that programmed into it.
Oh shit! And it's just trying to get that connection, huh?
Once this gets that connection, boom, it's gone. Cage and all.
Cage and all goes right back to his little hut.
That's crazy. Why it
Man.
can't pick back up signal? I don't know why.
But I mean, I'm just real glad people are able to see this evidence and it's actually live. Like, that's just one thing that really makes me happy about this case is it's they're transparent, and damn, I can't wait till when they open that hole, or even if they can, cause the guy from El Porto, he tried drilling a hole in it, and they can't
If
penetrate
he
it.
couldn't burn it up with a torch,
Yeah,
then,
yeah, it probably ain't gonna be. What,
that's some strange material.
what happens if you hit it with the hammer? I can swing the fuck out of a hammer. Will it defend itself?
Probably
Will it
bounce right
move
off that
before?
motherfucker.
Hey, you gotta think about it. How many miles does it
What if
have?
it dents and then the dent fixes right back up?
Who knows, huh? It's just a mystery. But how many miles does this thing have, bro?
Knows, nigga.
What if it's got trillions of miles?
Finally gave out.
Finally gave out over all because it fucked up and hit some cables.
The thing is,
And it
they don't have
probably-
no camera. Like, they don't have no sensors that we know about. Like, what the fuck is it? It's just a ball.
That's why I think something is connected to it consciously. 'Cause that's the only way I can think how it would spy on
Is it
people.
looking for something? Man.
More questions than answers, bro. But at the same time, I kind of, man, dude, trust me, my head even goes crazy.
It goes, you don't even know where to start, even on that question.
I told my brother about it, and he said, "What if it's just a speaker from JBL just playing Waka Flocka over there in Colombia?"
He's tripping.
This fool talking about it's just a speaker, and they're just trying to show Colombia some good music, some Fetty Wap. This fool. That's how you know you came up with some good theories. But I mean, other than that, man, I don't. The case is ongoing, and trust me, if an update comes up, shit, I'll give
Part
you know
two.
part two, and I'm trying to get in contact with this guy. Supposedly, I got a dude's number who has contact with him directly. So tomorrow I'm gonna hit him up, see how that goes. You know what I'm saying?
We might be getting a part two.
Yeah,
I'll be
hell
looking
yeah.
forward to that. But man, hey, that just blows my mind. Like now, I'm gonna be wondering what the hell this is, trying to figure out the answer.
Right? Shit, my girl was saying, what if there's like something little in it driving it? I'm like, imagine a little alien.
I mean, damn, that could make sense.
I mean, cause it could be a UFO for something small.
Yeah, small.
What if it's in there like
Humanoid.
mad as fuck? Like, fuck, they got me, bro.
Fucking out of gas, man.
I took a 10,000 volt discharge right up.
Man, I knew I
the-
should have filled the fuck up.
Right up the fucking anti-gravity
Nah,
combobulator.
because, you've seen them old ass paintings and stuff with something in the sky and there's
Oh man, that's a whole nother episode. But yeah,
but hey,
those like paintings from 1651,
yeah, and they're the crazy thing
Fucking-
about them is they're like,
time before UFOs. You know?
and they have to do with like religious shit, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of them are tied into
It
religious.
tied into religion.
And they're putting UFOs in there.
Man, bro,
What's up with that?
no, no.
Damn, that's
It's
what
a
it-
cloud.
That's what it comes down to.
But man, these things gotta be ancient, bro. These things aren't new. The way that sphere is beat up, bro.
It could
I
be
know.
ancient. Like, it's old, like I said, old technology that's forgotten about.
and that's advanced for us.
That's an advance for us.
But-
But to them, that's like, nigga, that shit's old. That's a
That's
flip
old.
phone.
Y'all found that? Like, damn, I ain't seen one of those. And
I can't
ooh,
believe y'all found that.
that's not even in our history books
Hey,
no more.
hey, look.
Look what they found, and it's advanced for them.
Well, let me see. I ain't seen that in a minute.
Damn, I remember that.
I remember that shit. I used to hit up.
What was he gonna say? But man, hold on. I do want to get into another subject about the Buga Sphere. So, of course, I believe in aliens, or UFO tech, all that shit. But at the same time, just because I believe, I shouldn't just jump into that it's real. You know, I also have to have a skeptic's perspective too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because, of course, you know, I want to believe, but that's also dangerous because then you start believing anything, you know?
Right.
So at first I looked at it as maybe it's fake, you know, because people love publicity, right? Because the guy who received the sphere, El Porto, while he was examining it, every video he took, his logo was somewhere in the picture.
Oh really?
Right? So it's like if he's trying to advertise, you know?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
it a publicity stunt, you know? Maybe he's trying to promote his company? Whatever. Right? That's one thing that makes me real skeptical.
That's some logical thinking.
Right? And another thing that has me tripped out was, you know, Jaime Maussan, he took this thing from Colombia to Mexico. Those are two countries. You know what I'm saying?
Right. How do you do that?
You can't just bring that onto a plane.
Especially if they don't know what it is. Could be a
Oh,
bomb or some shit.
trust me, they will hold him there till they know what it is. Well, here's another thing. I don't know how airports are in Latino America, you know? But I do know here, if you go on a plane with anything you're not supposed to, let's say, fuck, I don't want.
They fuck your whole flight up.
Yeah, they'll hold you, they'll detain you until they find out what you got.
That's crazy.
And trust me, you're not going nowhere, bro. Nowhere. The plane even gets put on hold because what if someone else is in there with the similar object that didn't get caught?
That's crazy.
So I started really thinking. I was like, well, hold on. How did he bring this thing from Colombia to Ciudad de Mexico? You know, I don't think he walked into the airplane with the sphere on his lap. You know, and nah, it does not work like that. I know it does because it's when I used to go to Tijuana to go see my girl up there. One time her grandma gave me tamales, but she wrapped it in aluminum. I didn't think much of it. I just put it in my backpack and I bounced. You know what I'm saying? And when I got to the airport in San Diego, man, they stopped me. I seen that, bro.
That was a key.
Yeah, cause it's aluminum. It can't pass it. You know what I'm saying? They're like, hey, what do you got in this bag? If I were you, I'd be honest. I was like, nothing. I forgot about the tamales. You know, I wasn't even thinking about that. They're like, you got something aluminum in there. I was like, oh. I was like, damn, it's some tamales. And they're like, tamales, like very weird. You wrapping aluminum. You know, they're making a big deal about it.
What? That's what you do,
bro. These motherfuckers opened up every fucking tamal, bro.
Like that, nigga. I was gonna eat that.
Listen, then they took a piece from each side, from the back and the front, and they put in a tube and they shook it up. Negative. They did the other one. Negative. And I told him, like, hey, bro, there's like 15 of them, bro. Like, you're going to do all of them? Like there's nothing in there. Yeah. Bro, because they held me for at least an hour and a half, bro.
Ready to go.
I was like, bro, I started getting frustrated. Yeah, they got people all around it. And why you got an aluminum?
Like that, looking like that.
I'm like, bro, it's not that serious. And they were telling me they have to do both sides because let's say I just put the stuff in one side. And I'm like, nah, bro, it's not that serious. So me going through that, I know this fool did not just hop on a Spirit Airlines flight and take it to Ciudad de Mexico. You know, I also got to be honest, you know. But then again, he's very, very famous. I don't know if he has special permissions.
Found a way to sneak it.
Right? Maybe he talked to the government of Mexico and maybe he's got connections with them. Like, hey, I know.
Ain't no telling.
Or maybe he has a private jet, you know, because if you got a private jet, you can actually do, you know, transport more things that, you know, you couldn't if you're just flying normal. So, you know, I still got an open mind that, you know, it could, but 90% of me says it's real, you know. But the other 10%, maybe 5% says that it's not, you know. Yeah. But really, to me, this thing is alien tech.
I mean, seeing the footage... Boy, that tells it all.
Yeah, that bitch was just floating around.
We don't even got that shit now.
Yeah, and it was lighting up before it fell. Yeah. Like, how does that thing even produce light? But we don't know.
Right? What the fuck?
We don't even.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, how fuck that
bulb?
But then again, we don't know the the inner mechanisms of it. So I'll shut up. I don't know how it works. But it did take a 10,000 volt discharge straight up its ass.
Yeah,
I
nah,
know that shit didn't feel good.
That's gonna hurt anything.
That's gonna hurt any goddamn thing.
Especially magnetic.
Oh, anything metal, huh?
It probably threw it all off the fucking the magnetic field in it.
See, cause man, I've heard a lot of people talk. They're like, oh, how did this super advanced alien technology make a mistake like that? A lot of people think since it's alien, it's perfect. Nah, bro, there's a perfection.
Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect. Not even as advanced as something could get. Alien ships have crashed. Flying in thunder. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's perfect.
Right away, people try to put it on a God level.
Ándale, there you go. I didn't connect that. Yeah.
They trying to put it on a God level, but that's not what it is. It's alien. It's another civilization, another intelligence that might be smarter than us, but
it doesn't make it perfect.
Don't make it perfect. It's not on the God level. It's trying to figure out and study shit just like us.
Exactly. And not only that, like some of those lines weren't perfect. I even looked down. I was like, man, it looks like someone like chiseled it in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, well, hold on. What if this thing's been flying for thousands of years and it's hit rocks and I gotta give it
flying through space and hitting space debris.
Exactly. I gotta give it some leeway. Of course, it's not gonna be perfect after 1,000 years of in no end flight. You know what I'm saying?
Who knows if it got sent here from, like we send satellites out. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2, you know how we sent them out like that? What if this was something similar?
Oh, man.
Ain't no telling.
Ain't no fucking telling, but...
Hey, that's some good stuff right
there.
Hey,
that's some good stuff, and trust me, I'll keep y'all updated. Man, I'm going to try to get a hold of Jaime Maussan. I know that sounds crazy, but I've got a contact of someone who talks to him, God's his number.
I'm gonna have to do a little bit of my own research on that.
Yeah, look into it.
That's interesting.
That's real. Man, the crazy part about it is there's not a lot of information about it in English because it's so new. It's barely been a month. It's been like 3 weeks, And it landed in Colombia, so the people mainly covered are Mexicanos.
That's the crazy thing about it. It's recent.
It's very recent.
It's rare, or a lot of stuff like this haven't happened recently.
Nah, hell yeah.
To this extent of shit.
Yeah.
Like a Roswell crash or anything like that. For some reason, all that shit is old.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like in the 70s,
what happened 90s. Like, what's going on?
It's like, yeah,
maybe
what
they figured
happened,
out what caused disruptions in their crafts to make it fail. Maybe they corrected that. I don't know.
See, because the night the Roswell crash happened, it was thundering that night. And supposedly the electricity fucked with the craft that caused it to crash.
Just like this event.
Exactly. The volts right up its ass.
Volts and magnetism and shit like that. Because
fuck with anything that's metal.
Yeah, because, that's how GPSs and all that compasses and shit work by magnets. And magnet and electricity, boy, that should fucking spin the hell out of a magnet if it gets struck by lightning or something, That'll throw your whole craft off.
Yeah. Shit, I remember. Damn, I know exactly what you're saying, bro.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, well, shit, I guess we'll cut the episode right there.
Wrap it up.
But hey, if you guys have any footage or
something y'all want to add on,
some info, maybe you translated it, whatever the fuck.
Found something that we didn't.
Right? I know there's ongoing studies, but shit, leave a comment, to send us a message, like, subscribe. Because, all that helps, you know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all like, comment, subscribe, that helps.
Let us know we could do better for y'all.
Exactly.
You
Yeah, that's what
know.
we need. We need some constructive
We trying to
criticism.
grow. We trying to grow, and we
Yeah.
getting better at this shit.
We need some constructive criticism. I will say that, bro.
Oh yeah, criticize.
Criticize.
But we're only gonna keep getting better, and you know,
But we'll get better.
spreading knowledge to everybody. It's a big goal for sure. You know, to enlighten people.
Hell yeah. But hell yeah,
All right then, for sure.